Starting off with the big headline, Cyclone Biparjoy has begun making landfall on India's western coast, lashing the state of Gujarat. The Indian Met Department says that the landfall process will continue till midnight. India and Pakistan have evacuated more than 150,000 people along the coasts, while emergency units have been put on standby. Russian forces successfully hit a drone production facility in Ukraine. Forces used high-precision, long-range weapons. Russian Defense Ministry also said that Russian defenses intercepted 5 US-built HIMARS-launched missiles and shot down 25 drones. Russian President Vladimir Putin met with the head of the country's medical and biological agency. They discussed the situation in Kherson and at the Zaporizhia nuclear power plant. Following the destruction of the Kakhovka dam last week, authorities in both Russia and Ukraine started with rescue and relocation operations immediately after the flooding took place. Thousands of people have been evacuated. The private tailor in Crimea has made a switch from sewing regular clothes to making bulletproof vests for Russian soldiers. Valery Fenin runs a company producing individual body armor with the special capability of removing them in less than 2 seconds. The armor plates for the bulletproof vests are tested at a military firing range . Russian lawmakers on Wednesday gave initial approval to a bill that would outlaw gender transitioning procedures in yet another blow to the country's beleaguered LGBTQ+ community. The bill bans any medical interventions aimed at changing the sex of a person, as well as changing one's gender in official documents and public records. Russian lawmakers have framed the crackdown as a fight against the influence of Western liberal values. Chinese Premier Li Qiang is scheduled to visit Germany and France from the 18th of June to the 23rd. Li will hold the 7th round of China-Germany inter-government consultation. He will also attend the summit for new global financing pact in France. China's Long March 2D carrier rocket has successfully lifted 41 new satellites into space. The rocket blasted off from the Taiwan Satellite Launch Center in Shanxi province on Thursday. It is the 476th mission for the Long March rocket family. This also broke the national record for concurrently sending the most satellites in a single mission. Australia has said it would introduce a legislation to cancel Russia's lease to build a new embassy in the national capital of Canberra, citing national security reasons. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese said his government acted quickly to ensure the leased site did not become an official diplomatic presence. Australia is one of the largest non-NATO contributors to the West's support for Ukraine and has been supplying aid, ammunition and defense equipment. The country has also banned exports of alumina and aluminum ores, including bauxite, to Russia. Israeli military on Thursday indulged in a fire attack while demolishing the house of a Palestinian who killed an Israeli soldier last year. Israel uses the tactic of demolishing houses as a deterrent against future attacks. This year alone, around 120 Palestinians were killed. Palestine and Israel have been gripped by months of violence, mainly in the West Bank region. Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas met with Chinese Premier Li Qiang in Beijing. The two pledged To further promote bilateral relations, Abbas is on a 3-day visit to Beijing, hoping to get Chinese support for the Palestinian state. The move comes after Abbas failed to meet the American officials last month. China and Palestinians have always had good relations, especially after Abbas' last visit in 2017. Palau's president has said his country needs help from the United States to deter unwanted activities by Chinese vessels in their waters. On a visit to Japan, Palau's president talked about incidents of Chinese boats entering the country's waters. The president also emphasized on Palau's diplomatic ties with Taiwan. Thousands of South Koreans and US troops took part in joint live-fire exercises on Thursday. A total of 2,500 troops participated in the drills in Pocheon, northeast of Seoul. The exercise was overseen by the South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol. The drills are being held to mark the 70th anniversary of the alliance between the two nations and also the 75th anniversary of the founding of the South Korean military. North Korea has fired a ballistic missile off its east coast this time. The statement was made by the South Korean military. The launch comes after North Korea issued a protest against live-fire drills carried out by South Korea along with the United States. The missile launch is the latest of many in protest against what Pyongyang calls provocative actions by the US and South Korea in the region. Ahead of a visit to Indonesia, Japanese Emperor Naruhito said that he is hopeful of further deepening ties with the Southeast Asian nation. Naruhito will be accompanied by his wife, Empress Masako, on the visit starting from the 17th of June. On the week-long visit, the emperor is scheduled to meet the Indonesian President Joko Widodo. This year marks the 65th year of relations between Japan and Indonesia. The European Union on Thursday hosted an aid conference seeking funds for Syria. The region is suffering from a decade-long conflict and the situation got worse after it was ravaged by an earthquake earlier this year. Foreign ministers of multiple Middle Eastern countries attended the conference in Brussels. United Nations Secretary General said the UN is aiming for $11.1 billion funding for Syria. Businesses in Nigeria are facing hardships after the Nigerian President Bola Tinubu scrapped the government subsidy. The subsidy had helped reduce the price of petrol. Its removal has meant a sudden jump in fuel prices and cost of most daily commodities. Small-scale entrepreneurs have been particularly hit badly. Young businesses have been struggling to stay afloat due to the high purchasing costs of perishable and non-perishable products in the market. In a recent development that has raised tensions between Kosovo and Serbia, Kosovo is banning all vehicles with Serbian license plates from entering its territory on Wednesday night. The move is a response after the arrest of 3 border police by Serbia's police. However, officials from both the sides accused each other for crossing the border illegally. Belgian King Philip and Jordanian King Abdullah attended a joint military exercise at Amman's King Abdullah Special Operations Training Center on Wednesday. The exercise simulated operations in urban areas to counter terrorism and engage in close-quarter combat. The two leaders also attended an arms exhibition showcasing the devices, equipment and ammunition used in the drill. The leaders have also reportedly exchanged views on contemporary issues as well. Chilean teachers marched in Santiago on Wednesday as part of a day-long strike to demand better school and working conditions. Part of the Teachers Guild staged a 24-hour strike with a list of demands, including that the government pay out overdue pension contributions and implement policies to combat violence in classrooms and improve mental health. Depending on the government's response to Wednesday's strike, teachers will decide on Friday whether to scale up the protest to a national level. Relatives of two students killed in a stabbing attack in Nottingham in England paid tribute at a vigil on Wednesday. Two 19-year-old Nottingham University students were found dead on a city centre street with stab wounds. Meanwhile, a 65-year-old school caretaker's body was also found with knife wounds on a road about 2 miles away. According to local media, thousands joined the vigil outside Nottingham University. Counter-terrorism officers and city police are currently working together to nab the suspect. Several cities in Poland were roiled with protests as thousands of agitators staged demonstrations against the country's abortion law after the death of a pregnant woman whose family believed she could have survived if she had been offered a termination. Poland's anti-abortion law are among the strictest in Europe. The recent death has triggered mass protests and stoked anti-government sentiments among the liberals ahead of elections due later this year. Abortion rights activists have said that there have been at least 5 cases of pregnant women dying whose families blame the restrictions on abortion for their death. Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele signed a bill to slash the country's 262 municipalities to just 44. The government believes this move will help cut spending, while the opposition termed this as a motive to grab more power. Government estimates peg annual savings at $250 million when it comes into force on the 1st of May 2024. Opposition lawmakers, however, say the move looks to centralize power, increase bureaucracy for project development and reduce the municipalities' autonomous resource management. The race to scale Mount Everest the most number of times is still on. Sherpa guide Pasang Dawa wants to climb the peak next year in an attempt to match the record set by a fellow Sherpa guide. Pasang Dawa has again and again tried to match the record set by Kamirita. Kamirita would head to the peak again in 2024 when Dawa will also be at the mountain to guide foreign clients up Everest. The Vatican on Thursday released the first pictures of Pope Francis after his abdominal surgery on the 7th of June. Francis appeared in good health and was in a wheelchair, where he was seen interacting with children in the cancer ward. The 86-year-old Pope was admitted to Rome's Gemelli Hospital on June 7th for a surgery to repair a hernia in his abdominal wall. A lioness, a lion and 3 cubs from Ukraine were given refuge at the Poznan Zoo in Poland after a journey of almost 20 hours. The operation to evacuate the lions was a collaboration between non-governmental organizations and the Polish zoo. The lions were given up by their owners, who were unable to take care of them amid the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau warned of more frequent extreme weather events as the country seeks to boost its readiness to tackle wildfires. Canada is enduring its most destructive start to wildfire season, with about 4.8 million hectares of area already burnt. Forest fires in Canada occur regularly, but the extent of the blazes and their early arrival were unprecedented.